Give a round of applause for James Aspey.
I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? Oh, what's going on there? Oh, I'll stand over here. Welcome, and thanks to everybody for being here this morning. I would have still been in bed, so use the dedicator. That's good. Today, what I'm going to talk to you about is, obviously, I mean, most people here are going to already know a lot of the things I'm going to say, but sometimes it's good to hear it in new ways. Sometimes it's good to hear how it can be delivered in a way that's been effective. Like was just mentioned, one of my speeches, it's not 6 million anymore, it's over 11 million now, and has been described, thank you so much, and has been described as one of the most influential animal rights speeches of all time. So the delivery is an important thing, and you know, sometimes what we say is even can be less important than how we say it. So if you already know some of the things I'm going to talk about today, maybe that's something you can pay a little bit more attention to. But what I am going to do is tell you a little bit about my story, a little bit about my journey, and talk about that 365-day vow of silence, how I did it, how it came about, why I committed to it, how it was an effective campaign, and tell you some of the things I learned along the way. Because something a little different about me than probably a lot of people here and probably a lot of people out there is that I actually did not care about animals at all only a few years ago. I didn't even really like them, even dogs. I didn't even like dogs. Everyone's like, oh, who's this guy, man? Get him off. But everyone can change. Anyone can change. And it's a key message, you know, to remember to be patient with people and to always be there with those lines of communication open so that you can maybe spark that light in somebody one day. Even the person with the dimmest little flicker that can turn into a roaring, raging fire. And that's what I've got now, a raging inferno. Yeah. But it was a process. It was a process. I want to tell you the process. I want to, you know, hopefully some things maybe I do tell you today, maybe you can learn a few things. So I always focus on education. I always focus on encouragement. I want people to feel good about trying to do this. And most importantly, inspiration, because you need that drive to want to do this and make changes. And I do know some people here don't know a lot of things I'm saying because vegans always dragging their friends to things like this. We're good like that. Like, come now, it'll be fun. There's a couple of nice animals. You'll love it. So there's something for everybody here. But thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. And all right, here we go. I want to tell you my story. I want to tell you what happened. 13 years ago, when I was 17, I was diagnosed with leukemia and lymphoma, a very deadly combination. They said that I'd be dead in 6 weeks if I didn't start treatment straight away. And I felt quite healthy and strong. I was in the hospital doing push-ups, like, are you sure, man? I feel pretty fine. But what happened was I got like 13 golf ball size lumps in my neck. And they got in the way of my breathing. And after a little while, they realized this is actually some really deadly cancer. So I start the treatment. I get extremely sick from that. There was times where I had pneumonia, which was infected in a central line I had coming out of my chest. And I couldn't breathe for days. It was the scariest thing of my life. There were times where it felt like someone was dragging a knife up my spine and beating me with a baseball bat, and I was screaming in my hospital bed. That was possibly the most pain I've ever been in. Well, until that 24-hour tattoo thing, that was pretty painful. There were times where all I wanted to do was eat. I'd eat 22 hours a day because I couldn't sleep more than 2 hours a night for well over a month. And I actually put on 60 pounds so fast that my skin on my sides ripped and bled. I got like these stretch marks there now. They're quite thick from that. So I don't see that too often. It was an intense experience of suffering. That's really what it was all about. And I learned so much through my own suffering. I realized that suffering is one of the worst things, or maybe the worst things that you could ever go through. Perhaps the only thing worse than your own suffering is if a loved one or maybe your child is suffering. You know, there were times where I thought maybe my mum and dad were suffering more than I was. But it's definitely at least one of the worst things you can go through. And it also follows then that to come out of your suffering is one of the best things you can go through. And I was fortunate to meet a man, a personal trainer, who wanted to help me do that. And he did. He helped me get fit. He helped me get strong. He helped me get healthy. And I recognized myself in the mirror again. Because before that, my hair had gone bald. I had this rash over my whole body. I hadn't been in the sun in months. And I had 60 extra pounds on my body. He helped me out of my suffering. And it was such an inspirational thing for me. If suffering is the worst thing, coming out of it is the best thing, and to help someone out of it is one of the best things you can do in this world. One of the best ways you can contribute your time to help others out of their suffering. And that's what I learned, and I was so inspired. I decided to become a personal trainer as well. For the next 8 years, so passionate about health, about helping others, trying to get them off medications, trying to get them eating better, exercising, thinking positive, all the things that come along with good health. And I ended up working on cruise ships full of kooky Americans. You know, that's where they go. I know, they're all of them. I met them. So I'm on this cruise ship. I'm meeting like 1,000 of them a week. It's a lot of fun. A lot of great people, a lot of interesting characters, a lot of weirdos. You've been, you know. And one time I'm on there, one day I'm just in the gym working, and I meet, this man comes in. He looked different than everybody else. There's this old, wise-looking Indian man. You know, big smiley face, big belly, kind of like the Buddha. And he started talking to me. He started talking to me about nature and the universe, all real deep, philosophical. I'm like, this guy's not asking me where the buffet is. This guy's different. Who is this guy? So we started talking, and we talked the next day, and we talk every day for the next 2 weeks. And he was fascinating. You know, he knew so much. Like getting back every day, come tell me more, come tell me more. 2 hours a day we were talking. And on the last day of his cruise, he said something to me that changed my life forever. He said one thing, he planted one seed. You know, the power of conversations. He said one thing to me: eating animals is bad karma. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I'm eating animals breakfast, lunch, and dinner today and every other day for my whole life. So my karma is not looking good, man. But I didn't know if I believed in karma. I didn't really care about it. You know, I definitely didn't care about animals. But he kind of made me want to care because he'd made it about me. He made it about me. You will be negatively affected if you eat animals. That's what I heard. So I said my go-to line. We've probably all said it or believed it at some point. Years prior, someone else planted a seed with me. They said there's no such thing as a healthy vegetarian. And this is a man who I respected in the health industry. So I throw it at this Indian man. No such thing as a healthy vegetarian. He says, I've been vegetarian for 20 years. I said, you know, you should be dead. You're lucky to be alive, man. Actually believed that. And because he was so wise and interesting, I thought, maybe I'll just try this out. I'll just do it to see how I feel. You know, 7 days I'll give it. Mainly just to cross it off my list so I can say, oh, I nearly died, I'm never going to do that again. That's not for me. That's not for me. This Indian man, he's something special, not for me. And then 3 days in, expecting to feel like I couldn't get out of bed in the morning, I was feeling amazing. I felt strong, I felt healthy, I felt a little bit leaner. I felt better after meals that I'd been eating. I just felt happy, actually. And this shocked me. I was expecting to be like, oh, I can't come into work today. I had no protein last 3 days. So I'm feeling good. I think maybe there's something to this. And you might think it's strange to notice after just 3 days, but you've been on the cruise ships, you know them buffets. I'm filling my plate up with stacks of meat. That's all I was eating. As much of it as I could. Getting the most of my experience. No wonder in 3 days I felt so much better eating a piece of fruit for the first time in 6 months. And I got interested. Why do I feel good? There might be something to this. I started looking into it and took no time at all to realize what I thought I knew I was wrong about. Not only can we be healthy without eating any animal products, but we're likely to be far healthier, reducing our chances of cancers, diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, and the biggest killer, heart disease. Live a longer life. This excited me as a health professional. I thought, man, I can't wait to help my clients with this and help my friends and my family live longer lives and reduce their chances of all these illnesses. I'm going to tell everybody about this. Typical vegetarian. We all do it. So I'm like, man, did you know about this? You got to go vegetarian. Everybody needs to go vegetarian. Tell everybody, like, spread the word. There's this. I just found out all this stuff. Everyone's like, dude, relax. You were eating meat for breakfast like 2 days ago. What's going on with you? But I got so passionate straight away about the health. And I realized through my research, because I was reading constantly, every spare second, a lot of people aren't vegetarian for the health benefits. A lot of people are vegetarian for the animals. I didn't get that at all, man. I'm like, why would you change your life for animals? Cry me a river, vegetarians. That's how I felt. That is so overly emotional. Who are these people, you know? They cry in all the movies. These are these kind of people. Cry about the animals. Didn't care at all. Never thought that animals had the capacity to care about their own life. Why would I care about their life if they don't even care about their life? That doesn't make sense. I had no idea. Everyone's telling me, oh no, it's for the animals. You've got to watch this documentary to learn more. Watch Earthlings. And I was like, Earthlings, eh? That sounds pretty chillin'. Check that out. Oh yeah, real chill. Most people probably know. A lot of people here still might not. Earthlings is a real-life horror movie. It shows all the ways that humans exploit and kill animals for food, clothing, entertainment, and medical testing. It's graphic, it's bloody. They scream, they cry. They have their babies stolen, they have their throats slit. They're confined, they're mutilated, they're tortured. It is very hard to watch. But I'd seen something similar before that I didn't find hard to watch. I watched animals be slaughtered before in some footage, and I felt nothing about 2 years prior. I felt nothing because, my brother told me to watch it. He said, you'll never eat meat again. I watched it. I said, mate, if you want to feel guilty about this, that's up to you. I'm not going to feel guilty about being a human. This is what I need to survive. So if you want to feel guilty, whatever, it makes no sense to me. I felt nothing. There's an interesting Buddhist quote. And what is it? I haven't said this for a while. Oh yeah, got it. All right, stay with me, it's early. The consumption of animal products extinguishes the seed of great compassion. Perhaps that has something to do with this, I don't know. I watched it, I felt nothing. When I watched Earthlings, I had a newfound understanding. And that understanding was that we can live and thrive without eating animals. So it led me to the question, if we don't need to kill and eat animals to survive and thrive, what do we do this to them for? And I thought there must be a good reason, because everybody says they love animals. Not me, I like it, but most people do. And if you don't like animals, even I could definitely agree with this. You're all against animal cruelty. Everybody's against animal cruelty. Even if you eat pigs, if you see someone punching a pig in front of you, you go over there and you stop that victim of bullying and violence. That's just innate in humans, almost all humans. I watched this footage this time. I think, what is this? What are we doing this to them for? I look for a reason, and I find the best justifications we've got because they taste good, because it's a habit we're in, because it's tradition, and because it's convenient. And I thought about that, and I thought about what I heard and saw, and I realized those justifications don't even justify a single scream because they taste good. I love money. I love having money. I have not that much these days, but I like it. I'm not going to go and shoot someone in the head, kill them, and steal their wallet just because I like money. And similarly, I wouldn't, if I didn't have to for health, go and pay somebody to slit an animal's throat and eat their body just because I think they taste nice. Nah, that's not the kind of person I am. I always strive to be a kind, respectful, peaceful, loving, compassionate person. I like to help others out of their suffering, not force them into it. So I became vegetarian for a whole new reason. For the animals. Shock horror to me. I'm telling everybody, hey, remember I was telling you all them health benefits the other day? There's even more. There's even more. I keep learning all these new ones. But on a more important note, do you know what happens to the animals? Have you seen what happens to them before they get wrapped up in that neat package on that supermarket shelf? People are like, don't tell me, man, I don't want to know, don't spoil my dinner. And I was like, get your hands off your ears, man. You told me that you love animals, you hate animal cruelty. You need to know this. Even I care about this. You know, I wasn't an animal lover, but I know oppression when I see it. I know violence when I see it. And if it's totally unnecessary for any reasonable justification, then I'm against it. I'm 100% against it. So I stayed vegetarian for the animals. And, you know, this Indian man, he still wasn't even done with me yet. I said, how do you know all this? He said, meditation. I said, bro, come on, don't play with me. What courses have you done? He said, I learned this through meditation. I was thinking, I'm not sitting around, I'm busy. You want me to sit in the corner with my legs crossed, my eyes closed for an hour every day? He said, if you want to learn things like this, you meditate too. Oh, I do want to learn things like this. All right, I'll try it out. Not really the kind of person to just start meditating 10 minutes a day. I got problems, man. I booked in for a 10-day silent meditation where you meditate 10 hours a day for 10 days. You know, like, there's something wrong with me, for sure. I go to this place. I get home, actually, from the cruise ship job. Everyone's calling me. They're like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, what do you mean? They go, well, I don't know if this is true or not, but we heard you went vegetarian. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm vegetarian. You're going to be vegetarian soon, too. Got the most amazing documentary for you to watch. Just traumatizing all my friends. And then I go to this meditation, 10 days. It's the hardest thing ever. I'm hating it. I'm like, oh my God, my bum's killing me, my back's killing me. This Indian man set me up. Day 5. It's all about observing your physical sensations, like what's going on in your body, remaining equanimous, which means accepting the moment as it is. Day 5, this crazy, strong sensation comes over me. I'm observing it, what's going on here? And then it eventually passed. And what I think it was my body trying to get me to speak. I'd never felt anything like this before. You know, I hope that's what it was. I based a whole year of my life on this moment. Let's just go with it. And it made me think, whoa, you haven't spoken 5 days. That's pretty amazing. How long could you do this for? Imagine going for another month. Oh, that would be pretty hard. Then I thought, imagine going for a whole year. And here's the danger with meditation. When you meditate, you get real positive, and all your ideas seem like great ideas. So I was like, yeah, that's a great idea, to-do list. Just vow silence for you, no worries. I think, but, you know, I can't get home from my cruise ship and say, oh, guess what, everybody, I've gone vegetarian. People are truly worried about me. I was a little bit worried about me. I thought, well, I can't just get home from this meditation and be like, hey, everybody, one small thing. I'm not going to talk for a whole year. People are going to be like, is he on the drugs or something? What's going on with this guy? So I thought I need some sort of reason, something to drive this. Maybe I could raise awareness of something I care about. What do I care about? Well, I care about people's health, but my newfound passion for speaking up for the animals was so strong. I'd only been vegetarian 3 months, but I knew that it was a massive injustice. In fact, so massive that almost every single person I knew was contributing to it. And the victims, the murder victims, I say murder because slaughter, it doesn't sound as heavy, does it? Slaughter, we're so used to hearing that, it's so normal. But this is murder of these innocent beings. There's no difference. You're taking the life of someone who doesn't want to die. So I'm going to use that word. I hope you're all right with that. These murder victims are chopped into pieces and put on my friends and family's plates. And they bought it and paid for this murder to happen. And then they're chopping it up and putting it in their mouths and chewing on it. At like a sophisticated restaurant, chewing on a dead body. I'd woken up to something big. I was doing it for all those 26 years. I wanted to tell everybody. It just felt so wrong. Even animal lovers are doing it. And I thought maybe I could do it to raise awareness for them. They'll be voiceless, I'll be voiceless. Perfect. But is this a big enough cause? Everyone just keeps telling me, who cares, man? They're just animals. So I think I'll look into this. I go back to health. I realize we have an epidemic of illness and disease. Heart disease, the biggest killer. The only diet that has been proven to reverse it is a diet free from animal products, which means the thing that most of us, maybe not this crew, most people, friends and family of ours, they're likely to suffer and die from something that could have been prevented almost in most cases. So I don't want my friends and family to suffer and die decades before their time. This is massive, and that's just one thing regarding health. I'd go into more, but there's a time limit today. Environmental. Leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, habitat loss, ocean dead zones, greenhouse gas emissions is animal agriculture. We use and abuse this planet's resources like we have infinite amounts of it. We exploit and destroy this planet as if we have another one to go to. Right now, things are not okay. We have serious environmental issues that we're faced with, and we just keep making things worse. The biggest destructive force is animal agriculture. It's something that does not even need to exist at all. How amazing. But I couldn't help but keep coming back, looking for all these reasons to do this vow of silence. I couldn't help but keep coming back to the animals. We're talking about over 56 billion land animals, over 3 trillion sea animals. All individuals that feel pain and suffer just like us. They have friends, they have families, they communicate, they have communities, they have their own heart, they have their own brain. They're just like us in all the ways that matter. They feel pain and suffer, and they don't want that. They want to feel good and peaceful, left to do their thing and live their life, just like all of us. And we have waged a war on them. We have waged a war on them. Not all of them. We've been taught which ones to war against. Love dogs, love dolphins, love whales, love cats. Kill and eat pigs, cows, chickens, fish. Value your life, value their life, value their life. So little that you having a 5-minute taste sensation is more important than their entire right to live their life. What a discrimination this is. I realize this is over 3 trillion reasons to take this vow of silence for animals. So I start planning it. I start learning more. I want to know the ins and outs of this. Because people keep asking me all these questions. And I don't know the answers. They're like, James, so where do you get protein now? And I was like, I actually don't know, man. I think there's protein in lentils. I saw that somewhere. What about free-range animals? They run around all day before they get their heads cut off. I'm like, it doesn't sound great, but I don't know. What about plants? Don't they have feelings? I'm thinking, I don't think so. What about if we don't kill and eat animals, won't they kill and eat us? And I was like, chickens? Nah, man. So I need to learn the answers. I'm going to put myself out in the public eye. I want to know the answers to all these questions. So I got some credibility. So when people ask me, I can answer, and I can cross that objection off their list. One of the most important things I think we can all do as activists is to get educated, just on a side note. So I start learning. And it didn't take long at all. before it happened. I realized I wasn't there. I was vegetarian. That's a great start. I stopped eating meat, but I was still eating dairy, eggs. In fact, I was eating more dairy and eggs than before because I replaced the meat I was eating with more dairy and eggs. I learned that there's at least as much cruelty in dairy and eggs. Not just that, wool, leather, silk, fur. You know, I had some leather things. I had some wool things too. Products that contain animal products or have been tested on animals. Places that exploit animals. I'm not here. Nah, this place is good. Places like SeaWorld, for example, where they got an orca living in a small pool, chlorinated pool, for decades, forced to perform every day. I realized it's not good enough to just be vegetarian. Am I against cruelty to some animals or all animals? Am I against some types of cruelty or all types of cruelty? And it goes further than that. It's not just about cruelty. It's actually about the use of animals. Animals aren't here for us to use at all. They're not ours. We don't own their lives. I mean, we do, but we shouldn't have ownership of another being's life. All use of animals is a form of exploitation. All exploitation is a form of abuse. And all abuse is wrong. I realize if I want to live in alignment with my values of non-violence and respect to these other species, then I've got to do that thing I've been reading about. Oh my God, how did this happen to me? I got to go vegan, man. Scary. Scary thought. I thought, oh, how did this happen? How did I become one of them extremists? A few weeks ago I didn't like animals, now I'm an extremist vegan all of a sudden. What's going on? I'm being brainwashed or something. Something's happened here. But thinking about it, I was like, why do I think vegans are extreme? And this may be why. I only knew one vegan. I didn't even know him that well at the time. One day my friend came up to me and said, guess what, man? Grant has gone vegan. I was like, what's that? He said, I don't know, but he doesn't sit on leather couches anymore. And I was like, why? And he said, I don't know. And we just went, well, that's a weird thing to do. We had no idea why. So when I thought about vegans, I thought extreme, unnecessary. Go vegetarian, vegans, relax. You don't need to go so far. But the truth is that because all animal products come from animal use, a form of abuse, then actually, if you want to live in alignment with your belief that causing needless harm to animals is wrong, veganism is the least you should do. Anything less than being vegan is causing this unnecessary harm to animals. Anything less than being vegan isn't good enough. It should be the least that we're doing. It should be our moral baseline, the starting point. You want to do more for animals? Cool. But at least stop hurting them. First things first, look in the mirror, stop hurting them. Then you can help other people do the same or help in whatever way you want. It always seemed extreme. In that moment, it seemed like the least extreme thing ever. Since when did not wanting to harm animals become extreme? Isn't the way most people live today extreme? Extremely violent, extremely cruel, extremely unnecessary, extremely unhealthy. Veganism didn't seem extreme, it seemed so chill. I wanted to do it. I didn't do it straight away. I started working in that direction because I knew that's what I had to do. Don't follow my lead, but I had no idea what I was doing. First I started having smoothies with chopped up blocks of raw tempeh dropped in there because I was so afraid I wasn't going to get enough protein. I'm like, I don't know, put some tempeh in. I don't even know what that stuff is, but it's got protein in it. Don't do that. I start working towards it. I start realizing so gratefully that every single one of my old favorite meals, there's a vegan version. They're delicious. So I'm loving the meals I was eating. I start realizing that there's vegan burritos, there's vegan Italian food like pasta and pizza, there's vegan nachos, there's vegan curries, there's even vegan meat, vegan cheese, vegan ice cream and chocolate. You got vegan everything. And then you got all the millions of recipes that don't have like anything that resembles an animal product that you would never eaten. I'm eating tempeh, I'm eating chickpeas, I'm eating all these foods I would never have bothered with before. So I'm like, ironically, eating more food than I ever had before and loving it more than I'd ever had before. It was amazing. And I felt like I was doing the right thing. And I planned my vows of silence. The plan was to write a blog as I travel around Australia in a van, hoping that I would hook people in. They'd be like, oh, that's interesting. This guy's gone around Australia, not speaking for a year. I'm like, yeah, come check it out. And then I'd tell them, this is, like, I write my blog, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm at, this is what it's like to be voiceless. Little sneaky ninja vegan message in there. Just planting them seeds. And as January 1st, 2014, the clock struck midnight. That's when my vow of silence began. What an anticlimax. You know when something exciting happens that you've been looking forward to for like a year? And it happens and you're like, yes! I was like, didn't really have the same kind of vibe to it. The plan was to start traveling around Australia, and that's what I started doing. Started traveling south. I learned how to start communicating. I started communicating like this. Some people are like, oh yeah, talking with my mouth without noise. Some people are like, what the hell are you just doing just there? I didn't get that. And that was the whole trip for me, the whole year. Some people nodding, some people were like, what? So I wrote a lot of things down. I became like an expert at charades. If anyone wants to battle me, I guarantee you will lose. That's my thing. And first thing that happened, I realized, oh, I want to do something. Maybe I should meet these animals that I'm standing up for. You know, find out what they're about. I've only been around dogs. I didn't even like dogs. Still to this point. I was like, yeah, not a fan. Sorry to my dog Bruce, but it's true. I like dogs now. Don't worry, everybody. Don't hurt me. We're all good with dogs now. So I go to this sanctuary. And these people, they're all excited. It's like, James, it's that voiceless guy's here. And I was just like, just getting used to it. I get in there, and they start showing me around. This is Harry the horse. This is Peter the horse. And I was like, all right. I didn't really know what to do. And then she takes me to the chickens. There's all these chickens. She starts introducing me to all of them. It's like 30. This is Jasmine, this is Jemima, there's Sarah over there. I was thinking, come on, you're making this up. You do not know all their names. And she's telling me, yeah. And I'm thinking, why would you name them? You know, I mouthed this to her. Why would you name them? They're just chickens. They're just chickens. You know, you don't say that to one of these animal lovers. Especially a vegan animal lover. She said, what do you mean? Thinking, is this the guy? Is the right guy here? This animal dude? What do you mean they're just chickens? They're all individuals. You know, they all got their own thing going on. They all got their own personalities. Just like humans. We're very similar in so many ways, but we are also very unique in many ways too. We all have our own heart and our own brain. It's unique. And that's for them too. They're not human people, obviously, but they're non-human people. They're individuals of their own rights. And she's telling me, look, honestly, Sarah, she's so sweet. Give her a pat. She loves a little tickle on here. Stay away from Jasmine, though. Jasmine will rip you apart. I was like, which one's that? Next day, an amazing thing happened. We get a phone call. They said, we have rescued a baby cow from slaughter. Baby boy cow from slaughter. Can we bring it to your sanctuary? And we were like, of course, come. So it's like a 45-degree day. In Australia, that's really hot. Here, it felt about 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. It was amazingly hot. Hottest day I've ever been alive for. And then you just held up a sign for 5 minutes, but we started 10 minutes late. Is it possible to get that or not? Yeah. Whoa, you don't get to decide, guys. Where's the boss? Is that cool? Add that 10 minutes that I missed out on? Good, because I ain't nowhere near done yet. All right, cool, thanks. Can you do that again when it's 15 minutes from now? Sweet. Figure that out. So, where am I at? Dairy cow comes in the back of this station wagon. We lift it up. the back, and there's this little baby in there. This little baby cow, black and white cow, tiny, so soft. I'm in there, like we get him out, put him down, it's so soft. I'm patting his face. I'm like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful animal I've ever seen. Big, beautiful eyes, big, long, beautiful face, like big eyelashes, just soft, like little baby. I was like, oh my God, I get it now. No, I wasn't quite there yet. But I was just like, super beautiful animal here. And then the problem was, this guy's name's Rupert. And Rupert was actually dying. He's rolling in the back of the head every now and then. He's panting, or he's breathing real shallow. He can't stand up, he's got no energy. And he's still got his umbilical cord just hanging there. Like he's a fresh baby, you know. He's just got here. Where's his mum? He's been ripped from her. And I'd read about the dairy industry and I'd watched some videos, but I'd never seen a real life victim of this industry. And that's what Rupert was. And I'm sorry to the people who already know this, but I'm going to say it anyway for the people that don't. What happens in the dairy industry, just so you can get educated and be aware, because it is truly a disgusting, disgraceful horror show. Your worst nightmare, you know. If it was you, it would be worse than anything you've ever gone through in your life. Well, you know, we've all been through some bad things, but this is up there, right? So, first of all, cows don't just give milk like we've been led to believe. We've been led to believe a lot of things. We need meat for protein, we need dairy for calcium. The only ones that need dairy are baby cows. And if you don't have a tail, you're not a baby cow. In the dairy industry, they don't just give milk. They have to be pregnant or recently have given birth. For that to happen, a human will shove their arm into this female cow's anus to maneuver the cervix so they then can inject her vagina with bull semen. They do this on an apparatus commonly known in the industry as a rape rack. After 9 months of bearing this baby, you know, this forced pregnancy, she gives birth. When she gives birth, her babies are taken from her. They're kidnapped. Because you can't have the babies sticking around drinking the milk. The humans want the milk. So sorry babies, too bad, we want that. This is one of the most traumatic experiences for a mother cow. They often cry and bellow for days, looking in the direction where they last saw their babies. The baby boys are seen as a waste product. They will never produce milk. They're male. They're a waste product. This is an industry built on one thing: profit. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for our health. It's about money. It's not about animals or doing the right thing. It's about money. The baby boys will produce them no money. They send them to the slaughterhouse. At the slaughterhouse, they get shot in the head after being pushed down this line, which I'm sure would be scary for them. Shot in the head with a bolt gun. It fires a bolt through their skull into their brain to pierce it. Blood comes out. And then they get their throats slit. They call this something. They call this humane slaughter. What a great word for people who don't know any better. Let's call it humane. Then the otherwise good people won't even know that they're contributing to a very, very bad thing. They won't even know. They'll think it's good. They'll think this is a good thing for animals. I'm doing so good for animals. I'm buying humanely slaughtered animals. Such an animal lover. That's the power. They're trillion-dollar industries. They know what they're doing. Humane means to show compassion. How can you compassionately slit a baby's throat? How can you compassionately kill anybody who doesn't want to die? I can't kill a human and say it was humane murder. I can't humanely abuse a child, and you cannot humanely murder an animal either. But that's what we call it. How dare we call it that? That's disgusting. The baby girls have the same fate as their mother. They're forcibly impregnated. Her babies are taken from her. She's hooked up to painful milking machines that causes different kinds of infections, painful ones like mastitis. After 5 to 7 years of being so severely exploited, they are sent to the slaughterhouse, the same one as their babies, humanely slaughtered. And this is the first time I'd seen the dairy industry in real life, a real life victim. And why do we do this? People like a piece of cheese on their sandwich. People like a little bit of cow's milk on their cereal. We have so many other alternatives. In fact, most of the time going vegan is this easy. You're at a supermarket, the one you already shop at. You're on your way to get that cow's milk. You haven't been weaned yet. And then you realize, oh yeah, I'm trying to be vegan now. I'm going to be vegan now. And then you just do this. This is how easy it is to be vegan. You just do this. You just go like this. Everybody can do that. Come on. You get the soy milk, rice, almond, coconut, hazelnut milk, hemp milk. There's a lot. They're delicious. They're healthier. They're better for the environment. They avoid all of that suffering and cruelty. How amazing that you doing this at the supermarket can save those lives and save them from that suffering. Eliminate that suffering. How amazing. What an empowering action that is to go vegan. This baby boy Rupert, it was my job to look after him. I start helping him. I'm giving him the milk every day, and I start looking him in the eyes every day and realizing this isn't a thing. This is a someone, and it was powerful. And I started understanding what that person with the chickens was talking about. And after 6 weeks of looking after him, I wanted to say goodbye. I had to leave. He's on the other side of the barn, and I thought, well, I can't say anything. He's never heard me speak, so I'll just, what have I got? I'll just think it to him, just telepathy, no big deal. So I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, Rupert, it's been so good getting to know you, man. So good being able to look after you. It's been a lot of fun. It's time for me to go now, but you are in good hands. I'm so sorry what has happened to you, but the worst of it is over. And I'm going to come visit you again someday in the future. I think that whole thing to him. He's looking at me the whole time. He starts walking over. And our relationship had been mostly him headbutting me. Because that's what they do with their mothers. They headbutt the mum's udder because they want milk. So he'd just be headbutting me all the time. Slobbering on my pants, mess my pants up every single day. He comes up to me. He's never, ever done this to me before. He comes up to me. I'm thinking, here come the headbutts. Slobber on my pants, no big deal. Last time. And he nuzzles his head on my leg. And I was like, whoa. So I bend down just to see how far I can push it. And I get this big cow tongue up my face. That's what I was expecting. Sorry, I told that story wrong. I thought I was going to get a big cow tongue up my face. So I'm chilling there, waiting for it. And instead, we're just looking at each other. He's looking at me, man. We're chilling. He's not headbutting me. And I think, we're having a moment here. We're having an actual moment. And it made me think, man, did he hear me or something? I'm not saying that. He heard me. I don't know if he heard me. I'm not saying that. I'm not. But it made me wonder, what do we know about these animals? We think we know so much. We will never fully understand the complexity of the consciousness and awareness inside of these other earthlings. We'll never fully grasp it. We've got ideas about them, but we need to have a more open-minded concept about who they are. And even if they're incapable in certain ways and maybe even less intelligent in certain ways, so what? Someone's life value is not determined by how good they are at doing maths equations or how good they are at building a building. I'm not good at maths or building buildings. Please don't kill and eat me. This experience with Rupert really fueled my fire. I started going into factory farms, seeing for myself. I learned, unfortunately, that they are at least as bad as what you have seen in these documentaries. I've never seen such a real-life horror show in my life. And I can't describe it to you because the words I use, they point to it. Suffering, torture, terror, pain, screaming. They point to what it was like. I can't give you a really good picture of what it's like to be in these places. But what I would say is that there are no matter how, this is 97% of where animal products come from. No matter how good, though, these animals are treated, organic, grass-fed, free-range, They all end up at the same slaughterhouse. They all end up humanely murdered. Now, there's a lot more to this story, but I don't have time to tell it. Which is all good, because I think you get the picture. I'll just end like this. I travelled around the rest of Australia. I cycled 5,000 kilometres to show that we can be healthy and strong as vegans. Planted those seeds. I spoke for the first time live on Australia's most popular morning TV show in an interview that was viewed by millions of people with a very strong plea for respect and non-violence, and veganism is the least we should do. Since then, I've travelled around the world giving free speeches, over 200 now. One of them has over 11 million views. You never know what you'll do. You never know who you might influence. This is a message that needs to be spread. It is a gift. It is our responsibility. Those who have the privilege to know have the duty to act. And if you didn't know some of the things I said today, maybe you're not vegan. That's cool. I didn't know either. But when you know better, you do better. And we are so lucky to know better, because what we know can truly save so many lives and improve the health of so many of our friends and family. This is the right thing to do. It's about justice. It's about ending oppression in all its forms, whether it be racism, sexism, or speciesism. And now we are warriors in this fight. So let's fight hard. Thank you very much.